I'm stuck. What is the best way to ask somebody for help as a programmer?
Buy me a bottle of gin and maybe a cookie. And sorry, no. So like, I answer like other developer questions like all day, right? That's like my job. I love doing it. I love when people come with context. Context is like the thing that I wish that more developers gave me. I, if you're stuck, right, and you say like, I don't know how to do thing, cool. What have you tried? What have you tried to get to this point? Why do you feel stuck? Are you stuck because you've been working on this for a day and like you've done XYZ and like none of them work? Are you stuck because like there's multiple types of engineers that I've met. You're stuck because you didn't read the docs, or you're stuck because you've been working on this for hours and you're so deep in the trenches that I need to like lift you out of it because you don't actually need to solve that problem. We've already solved it for you. And like you're, 3 layers deep in like this like existential crisis that you're in. So I love when someone comes and asks me for help, right? I will always be helpful, especially if you use like nice language, like, hey, I'm so sorry, like whatever. Like I like that. But like that's not actually the most important thing. Hey, I'm stuck with thing, link to thing.
Mhm.
I've tried stuff, XYZ. I think this is problem. What do you think? Literally follow that format every single time and you will get an answer from someone.
I would 100% agree with that. And I'll kind of pile on top of it a little bit. One thing that helped me, especially in my earlier career, I don't think I'm particularly special, but I think I got good at asking for help. And one of the things I would do is exactly what you say. So I try everything I could possibly think of. Did you Google it? That's a big one. Have you tried? And then another thing too is if you're asking people outside of your team, have you already asked people on your team first? Because it gets very aggregating, aggravating when you go ask somebody from another team and they say, well, have you asked anyone on your team? I'm like, well, of course not. I came to you first. And you go, well, ask your people. Second, I would say, did you do everything in your power to figure it out? And then finally, be prepared. Like if I'm going to take the time out of my day to help you, I want everything all set up. So when you come in, the code's ready to go. Like an example in Visual Studio, you already have all your breakpoints set. So when you hop on, you can run it, you can hit the air, you can look at the stack trace, you can do all that stuff right away. Because otherwise, man, it gets so frustrating when someone asks you for help and you show up and they're like, okay, let me get all this stuff. And you have to waste 5 minutes for them getting set up. And the other thing is, I've met a lot of other very senior people who are really smart, really good, that just don't like to help people out because too many times they've been burned where the person hasn't done like their due diligence before asking.
I've definitely, that's why I like that context, right? Is like, I want to know, am I walking into a person, like, am I walking into a situation where someone spent all of like 2 seconds, like, being like, I don't know what's going on. And then it's like, okay, well, that's really simple, actually. And then I just tell them the answer. And then, it kind of like ruins my day a little bit. Or is it someone who like actually needs help? They've been working on this for a bit. There's like a fine line of, I don't want you to be super frustrated that you've been working on this for like 48 hours and you're like lost sleep on this. But like at a certain point, I usually have different thresholds for different types of engineers, right? So like early career engineer, if someone's stuck for like an hour, I want them to come to me. If a senior engineer has been stuck for like an hour, maybe they could have come to me a little bit sooner, right? So there's kind of like levels depending on like how much I expect them to like understand how to look for answers. But yeah,
And I would say the other thing is there's something about developers that they want to be smart. They want to try to fix the problem themselves. And I always say, like, I remember another thing that helped me when I first got started is the developer goes, man, if you're stuck for more than like an hour and you've done all your things you're supposed to do, go ask somebody. And that really stuck with me because I've known people who just spend days fighting one problem. And you go, my God, just go ask someone, get done with it and move on to the next thing. Don't punish yourself. So always be prepared, do everything you can to figure it out and people will be willing to help you if you do that, especially if you've put in the time.
yeah. I definitely have done like 48 hours of banging my head against the wall before. It was school though, so like I guess like that's the point. I didn't understand pointers. It's a thing.
Good old pointers.